My name is Alexander. I'm a man who built his empire not with bricks and mortar, but with whispers and data. My company, ChronoNet Solutions, specialized in digital forensics and corporate espionage, the art of uncovering secrets. I prided myself on my analytical mind, my ability to see patterns where others saw chaos, to untangle webs of deceit. Yet, for all my professional prowess, my personal life was about to become the most intricate case I'd ever encountered. My world revolved around the cold logic of algorithms and encrypted files until Evelyn. She was an art historian specializing in ancient artifacts, particularly those with hidden mechanisms. Her intelligence was as captivating as her deep sapphire eyes. We met at a charity gala, an ironic setting given the nature of my work. She spoke of history, beauty, and the stories embedded in forgotten objects, while I discussed the unseen currents of modern information. Our worlds were vastly different, yet we were undeniably drawn to each other. We married, and for the first time, my ordered life felt imbued with a chaotic, beautiful warmth. Her gift to me on our first anniversary was a unique, intricately carved obsidian key, a replica of an ancient mechanism she had studied. She said it represented the unlocking of our shared future, a constant reminder of the secrets we would discover together. Our marriage was a delicate dance between our two worlds. I admired her passion for history, the way she could lose herself in ancient texts and dusty archives. She, in turn, found a strange fascination in my digital pursuits, often teasing me about being a modern day cryptographer. We renovated an old townhouse in a quiet, historic district, turning part of it into her private study, filled with rare books and antique maps. Our grand plan was to co author a book, hers on historical cryptography, mine on its modern digital equivalent. It was a fusion of our passions, a testament to our unique bond. Then Marcus entered the picture. He was a renowned archaeologist, a former colleague of Evelyn's, who had recently returned from an acclaimed dig in the Middle East. Evelyn spoke of him with an almost childlike excitement, reminiscing about their shared adventures and intellectual debates. When they reconnected, it was under the guise of an academic collaboration for our book. Marcus's charm was undeniable, his intellect sharp, and his presence often dominated the room. He'd visit our home frequently, and their conversations would stretch late into the night, filled with esoteric historical references and conspiratorial whispers about ancient societies. I found myself increasingly sidelined. My questions about their research were met with vague answers, or worse, with Alara's dismissive, "It's too complex, darling, you wouldn't understand the nuances of ancient symbolism." The air in my own home began to feel thick with unspoken words, with glances exchanged between them that I couldn't decipher. My analytical mind, usually so keen, was dulled by a rising tide of unease. I tried to dismiss it, attributing it to my own professional paranoia bleeding into my personal life. I was Alexander, the man who saw plots everywhere. Surely this was just another one of my professional deformities. One late evening, I returned home from a particularly draining case, the hum of servers still echoing in my ears. The townhouse was quiet, save for a low murmur coming from Alara's study. I found her and Marcus hunched over a large ancient map spread across her desk, illuminated by a single lamp. They didn't notice me at first. I heard Marcus whisper, "The final piece, Ilara. The location is undeniable." Ilara's response was barely audible, a tremor in her voice. And Arthur will never suspect. My blood ran cold. I retreated silently, my heart hammering against my ribs. Later that night, Ilara returned to our bedroom. She found me awake, staring at the ceiling. "Everything all right, darling?" she asked, her voice a little too light. "Just thinking," I mumbled, "about our book project." She tensed. "Right. It's coming along," she said, quickly changing the subject to a mundane detail about her day. But the seed of doubt, once planted, had taken root and was beginning to blossom into a chilling certainty. The next morning, as Ilara prepared for one of her research trips with Marcus, she left her old satchel on the bedside table. My eyes caught a flash of metallic green inside, a small, worn notebook. It was Ilara's personal research journal, something she rarely left unguarded. My professional training kicked in. I discreetly opened it. The pages were filled with intricate drawings of ancient symbols, alongside detailed schematics of what looked like advanced security systems. And then, a name repeatedly circled and underlined: the Obsidian Vault. My own obsidian key, lying on my nightstand, suddenly felt heavy, ominous. Below the name, scrawled in Marcus's handwriting, was a series of coordinates. My breath hitched. These weren't just coordinates. They were for a remote, highly secure facility owned by one of my biggest corporate rivals, a place rumored to hold priceless artifacts and highly sensitive data, a place I had tried to infiltrate for years without success. The truth hit me like a physical blow. It wasn't about love or even about Mark. It was about something far more insidious, something my analytical mind could grasp: theft, not of my heart, but of something tangible, valuable. My own unique digital key, the obsidian key Ilara had given me, was a Trojan horse. It wasn't merely a replica, it was a carefully crafted device designed to mirror and transmit data from my secure network. Ilara had given me the very tool that would allow her and Marcus to exploit my access, to bypass Chrononet's formidable firewalls and steal confidential information, perhaps even the codes to the Obsidian Vault itself. The realization was a bitter pill. For months, perhaps even years, they had been using my affection, my trust, to gain access to my life's work. The Art and Nature Center dream, the historical cryptography book, all elaborate facades to mask their true intentions. The obsidian key, once a symbol of our bond, now felt like a brand of shame. I retreated into my office, the familiar glow of multiple monitors, offering a cold comfort. I ran diagnostics on my entire network, a forensic examination of my own digital footprint. It was all there. Backdoors installed through what appeared to be innocent software updates, data packets being siphoned off to external servers, cleverly disguised as research material for our book. The sheer audacity of it, the calculated coldness of their plan, was breathtaking. They weren't just stealing data, they were systematically dismantling my company from the inside out, using me as their unwitting accomplice. My anger was cold, precise. This wasn't about emotional revenge, it was about professional retribution. They had used my tools, my expertise, against me. Now I would use theirs and my own to unravel them. My first step was to reinforce my own digital defenses, creating new layers of encryption and traps within my network. I allowed small, seemingly innocuous pieces of information to flow through the compromised channels, subtly steering them towards carefully constructed digital dead ends. I wanted them to believe their plan was progressing, to keep them complacent. Then I began to weave my own web. I contacted my most trusted contacts in the corporate security world, discreetly sharing fragmented, misleading intelligence about an imminent breach within a rival company, precisely the company that owned the Obsidian Vault. I hinted at an internal mole, a complex data theft scheme involving ancient artifacts. The rumors spread like wildfire, creating a climate of paranoia around the Obsidian Vault. I also reached out to my network in the rare artifacts market. I started subtly leaking information about a newly discovered, incredibly valuable artifact, one that would perfectly complement the collection housed in the Obsidian Vault. I knew Marcus had an insatiable hunger for such discoveries. I wanted to tempt them, to lure them out of their digital shadows and into the real world. The climax of my plan was to coincide with a prestigious annual symposium on historical cryptography, an event both Ilara and Marcus were scheduled to attend, and one where they planned to unveil their research for our co authored book. I also secured a speaking slot, ostensibly to discuss new trends in digital security. On the day of the symposium, the air was electric. Alara and Marcus presented first, their polished presentation filled with discoveries that bore an uncanny resemblance to my own stolen data and Alara's genuine artistic genius. They spoke of the historical significance of the Obsidian Vault, hinting at its hidden treasures. The audience, a mix of academics, historians, and tech magnates, was captivated. As their presentation concluded and they basked in the applause, I took the stage. My presentation began innocently enough, a discussion on cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Then I changed direction. Today, I announced, my voice calm, I want to talk about a different kind of vulnerability, the vulnerability of trust and the echoes of ancient deceit in our modern world. The audience stirred. I then displayed on the main screen a magnified image of Ilara's obsidian key, the one she had given me. This key, I stated, is a remarkable piece of craftsmanship. It's a replica of an ancient mechanism, one designed to unlock secrets. But this particular key has a modern twist. I then showed a detailed X ray scan of the key, revealing the tiny, almost invisible digital chip embedded within it. Murmurs rippled through the audience. Ilara's face, usually so composed, went ashen. Julian's jaw tightened. This chip, I continued, was designed to be a conduit, a bridge into my secure network. It systematically siphoned off data disguised as innocent research. Data that conveniently aligned with the very discoveries my wife and Mr. Thorne have just presented. I paused, letting the implications sink in, including highly sensitive information about the security protocols of a certain obsidian vault. The hall erupted in whispers. Julian, furious, started to rise from his seat, but a sudden commotion at the back of the hall drew everyone's attention. A team of security personnel, alerted by my strategically leaked information, had just apprehended several individuals attempting to breach the physical security of the Obsidian Vault facility, precisely the coordinates Marcus had scrawled in Ilara's notebook. The timing was impeccable, the result of my meticulous planning and the carefully crafted rumors. Chaos ensued. The real time footage of the attempted breach, streamed directly from the vault's security cameras, played on the screen behind me. It showed Marcus's team caught red handed. The connection was undeniable. Ilara stared at the screen, then at Marcus, her eyes wide with a mix of horror and understanding. She had been used, not just as a cover, but as an unwitting pawn in a much larger, more dangerous game. Marcus, caught in the glare of the accusations and the visual evidence, tried to make a break for it, but security personnel, also tipped off by me, were already moving in. And finally, I said, my voice cutting through the pandemonium, for those who believe the past always remains buried, I bring you this. I activated a hidden feature within my own obsidian key, a small, almost imperceptible micro projector. A holographic image shimmered into existence above my hand, a detailed rendering of the original authentic deed to the mansion and the olive groves, alongside financial records proving their illegal transfer to Julian's company, a company I now revealed was a shell for a far larger, more illicit operation involving stolen artifacts and corporate espionage. The sheer scale of their deception, exposed in such a public forum, was devastating. Alara, overwhelmed, stumbled off the stage, her carefully constructed world crumbling around her. She didn't try to deny it, didn't try to fight. She simply vanished into the bewildered crowd, her emerald eyes still filled with a haunted, broken expression. Julian was arrested on the spot, facing a litany of charges ranging from corporate espionage to grand larceny. His emerald legacy crumbled, his reputation irrevocably destroyed. For me, the immediate satisfaction was immense. Justice of a kind had been served. Chrononet Solutions emerged stronger than ever. My reputation as a master of digital forensics cemented. The mansion and olive groves, my true inheritance, were legally returned to me. I reopened the Art and Nature Center, this time with a new vision, untainted by deceit. But the taste of victory was bittersweet. The trust I had once so freely given was shattered, replaced by a permanent caution. The warmth that Alara had brought into my life had dissipated, leaving behind a cold, empty space. My analytical mind had solved the most complex case of my life, but it couldn't mend a broken heart. I still have the obsidian key. Sometimes I trace its intricate carvings, a reminder of the labyrinth of lies I navigated. I built my empire on uncovering secrets, but the greatest secret, it turned out, was the betrayal hidden in plain sight, camouflaged by love. And as I rebuilt my life, I wondered what other secrets, what other betrayals lay hidden beneath the surface of seemingly perfect lives. The pursuit of truth, it seemed, was a never ending journey.